Sapiens, a brief history of humankind. Yuval Noah Harari. Hope you guys will enjoy this episode. Okay. Then, part 2. The Agricultural Revolution. Page 87. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start with history's biggest fraud must cut up. Shing. Now, long ago, people have been using meat and been eating meat for their lives. Hunting meat, eating meat, and then eventually people found out how to use fire. They made fire in lots of ways, rubbing flints together, sometimes just using natural light, and other times it's just using the electrons. They didn't know what caused fire, and they didn't really care. All they cared is about the uses of fire and getting fire. And fire was really important because of all its uses. It changed the chemistry of the food and made the food safer. Eventually, people found out about things, and all of this was true forever. Incorrect, actually. Eventually, this practice kept on going until someone discovered agriculture. Someone discovered how to plant plants and how to crop crops. People have been able to survive thousands of years since this, and eventually people decided to do a lot of good things. But the fraud about agriculture is that now that these are done, now that this agriculture came in, everybody didn't need to walk around or run for that matter away, and now they could just stay in one place, build permanent settlements, build up their defenses. In other terms, fight for their cities. Shing. But until then, they're not gonna be like that. Eventually, currencies started to evolve. The gold was discovered, and then gold was used as a currency, and it was worth valuable. And because of all of these uses, they were pretty much. Eventually, people found a lot of gold, and eventually made a lot of gold stuff. I got 2 gold coins here. Eventually, everybody just stayed in the same place with shining gold, a shining currency, and awesome agriculture. But the problem about agriculture is that they breed us instead of us breeding them. Now, it might seem that we have been breeding all of these people during the same time. But it turns out the plants were making us breed themselves. How is this possible? Well, it turns out there are a few ways. One, when we found out about agriculture, we multiplied our sources. Eventually, one thing into two things. When we get 2 things, we get more of those things. 1 to 2, and so on and so on. I think you get the point. So we have to protect our supplies and how we manage our things. Some people have been dying off in their places as long as we can remember. Okay, 2 is that the plants have been growing us because, well, we needed more plants. But eventually we got so many plants that we got more people than we got more plants. Since we stayed in settlements, more people grew up, and we didn't get the number of people outnumbered the amount of plants, which is bad. And then we built pyramids, not of gold, of course, but the tops were coated with gold and got eroded away after millions and millions of years. It turns out these were made from stones and stuff. after building the pyramids, more civilizations appeared, such as the Mesopotamian civilization, or the Roman civilization, the Yanks civilization, the Indus Valley River civilization, and I could go on and more, but for now let's just keep it there. But then how much information should we have to store in our brains to do that? It's not like we can insert a coin inside, and eventually the information just pops up for a random amount, and then you have to insert another coin inside, and like an arcade game or something. Turns out you had to be pretty great at this, since a lot of skills were needed to be memorized in there, like a map of the surroundings, senses fine-tuned, no gold coins into ears. Ow, my ear's not a slot, you stupid hand. Ow, 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 ow. There was a lot of things. Survival skills, keen senses of the world, currency, exchange, weaponry, mining. Actually, let me mine something. Mining. Eventually finding a lot of ores, and all the other things, as we have said. But then, why are we all doing this? We used to walk all over the world. Why are we doing this? Why do we even do this? Why do we even do this? To stay in one place. It's easier to stay in one place than being in loads of different places. And people have been trying their luck as they've been doing for centuries now. And that's probably the biggest fraud in history. That maybe because of this memory overload, and that our brains should have been bigger because of all that things that we needed. And the truth is, there is no justice in history. What we think of justice, according to Yuval Noah Harari, is just fiction in our brains. Though we just found out about this and got an idea. But it turns out there is no justice. What we think of justice is just the perception we created, a fiction, at least the Yuval Noah Harari, that we created, so that we have a common belief in our places, in our cities, in our communities. City, a tent grew into a little village. A village grew into communities. A community grew into city. Cities grew into countries, and countries eventually grew into empires. These empires, such as the Mesopotamian, the Assyrian Empire, have been here for long time. But as we say, there is no justice. Even as Hammurabi tried to make justice with his Hammurabi Code, which is technically the first set of laws ever put in a civilization, there really was no justice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you learned something new today, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and please write down what you learned today in the comments below, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Shannon out, and peace. Okay, hand, do not put this coin inside my head as if my head is like Pac-Man or something. Ow! Oh, insert. Oh, I'm Pac-Man. Pac-Man. And yum, 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 yum.